In this tutorial, you'll see how to install the NetApp ONTAP simulator. I'll start off by downloading the software, then we'll get it installed and up and running in VMware. And finally, I'll do some tweaks to make the simulator run more reliably and also add some extra disks to give us more flexibility for our lab exercises. I'm going to be working from the How to Build a NetApp ONTAP Lab for Free ebook, which you can download for free from my website at www.flackbox.com. As usual, we're working from the How to Build a NetApp ONTAP 9 Lab for Free PDF, and the section we want to go to here is the ONTAP simulator build for Cluster 1, Node 1. So I'm going to follow along with the step-by-step instructions here, which starts with going to netapp.com to download the simulator. So I'll go there, and we need to log in first. So I'll click on the sign in link up in the top right, and then it's the support site here that I want to log into. So I click on support. Now, normally it'll ask for your username and password here. You do need to be a NetApp customer or partner to be able to download the NetApp simulator from here. I've already logged in, so that's why it didn't prompt me for my username or password. Okay, I'm going to click on downloads and we go to product evaluation and then click on the Data ONTAP simulator link. And then when this page loads, scroll down to the bottom, tick the checkbox to say that you've read and agreed to the license terms and conditions, and click on continue. Then it will give us all the links for the different versions of the ONTAP simulator. We're going to be running the latest one here, which is ONTAP 9.4. So the different files that I want to download the installation and setup guide PDF. You don't actually need that because you're going to be working from my PDF anyway, which has got more details than are available here. You also want to download the vSim licenses as well to give you a free license to try out in the simulator for the different features. You can also download the checksums, and the really important one to download is Simulate ONTAP 9.4 for VMware Workstation, VMware Player, and VMware Fusion. We're running the lab in VMware Player, so this is the one that we want to download now. So that's the 4 different files to download: the installation and setup guide, the licenses, the checksums, and ONTAP 9.4 for VMware Player. So click to download those. To save time, I've already got them downloaded. So I'll open up Windows Explorer. You can see I've got them in my downloads folder now. The next thing I want to do is go to my NetApp lab folder, go in there, and I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call this C1N1 for Cluster 1 Node 1. And then I will go back up to my downloads, and I'm going to move that OVA file into that C1N1 folder. Okay, now I am ready to actually build the ONTAP simulator in VMware Player. So I will open up VMware Workstation Player. And then when this opens, it's a bit different than the VIOS router, where we created a new virtual machine because we were using an ISO file. Now we're using an OVA file, which is a pre-built virtual machine. So I'm going to choose the option to open a virtual machine here. Then I'm going to browse to it. That was in NetApp Lab and then C1N1. And there's my OVA file. I double click on that. And I'm going to name my virtual machine C1N1. And the folder that I want to store it in was in my NetApp Lab folder, and then C1N1. Click OK to that, and then click on Import. It's then going to import the OVA file and build the virtual machine. This will take a few seconds, but it shouldn't take too long. So if I just waffle on for a few more seconds, we should be good to go. Okay, there we go. So that is our virtual machine created now. But just like we had with the BIOS router, it doesn't have as many network interfaces as we want for our lab. So I'm not going to play it yet. I'm going to click on Edit the Virtual Machine Settings. And you can see by default, it comes with 4 network adapters. Now, let's have a look in the PDF and see what networks we're going to want for our lab. So I'll look at the lab topology diagram, and you can see that the way we're going to set it up is interfaces E0A and E0B on my node are going to be connected to VMnet 6, which is my cluster network. Then interface E0C is going to be connected to VMnet 1, which is my management network, and I'm going to give that an IP address in the 172.23.1 network. Then interfaces E0D and E0E are connected to VMnet 2, and that is on the 172.23.2 network. And interface E0F is on VMnet 7, which is in the 172.23.7 network. So I'm going to need to configure a network adapter for each of those different connections there. And I'm going to need to make sure that they're in the Connect VMnet network as well. If I get anything wrong there, then I'm going to have a mismatch between my networks, between either my IP subnets or the VMnet, and it's going to break the connectivity in the lab. So you need to be careful, make sure you get this exactly right, or the network connectivity is not going to work. So I will go back to VMware Player again, and E0A and E0B were connected to the cluster network, which was on VMnet 6. So I click on my first network adapter, which is E0A in the ONTAP simulator, and I'm going to put that in VMnet 6. And I do the same for my second network adapter, which is E0B. That is also in the cluster network of VMnet 6. My third network adapter, so that's E0C in the ONTAP simulator, is on the management network, which is VMnet 1. And then network adapter 4, which was E0D, is going to be in VMnet 2. So I'm up to A, B, C, D, but I needed up to F. So I need to add another couple of network adapters here. To do that, I click on Add and Network Adapter and Finish. And then I'm going to add another network adapter again and Finish. So, and notice that when you do this, that VMware Player adds them out of order. So this can mess you up. This can cause you to get the VMnet networks added in the wrong order. So what to do here is just click on OK and then go to Edit Virtual Machine Settings again, and you'll see that my network adapters are now added sequentially in the right order. So that all looks good. Let me just check this again. VMnet 6, 6, 1, and 2. Network adapter 5 was also in VMnet 2. So I put a couple of network adapters in the same VMnet network there so that we can bond them together. And then finally, network adapter 6 is in VMnet 7. Okay, that all looks okay. I'm going to click on OK here. And then just as a double check, because VMware Player can sometimes mess these up. There's like a bug in VMware Player sometimes. I'm going to just one more time edit the virtual machine settings and double check that everything is correct. That all looks good. So I can click on OK there, and now I can play the virtual machine. And I'll make my window go full size here. Now what I'm going to do is make sure I click inside the window, and I'm going to wait until I get the prompt to boot into the boot menu. It's telling me here it's going to boot in 13 seconds. You can hit enter there to boot immediately, and then watch it booting up, and it's going to give me a prompt soon where I can hit Control-C to break into the menu. So this should not take off it. In fact, I can see it there. Press Control-C for the boot menu. So I hit Control-C. It does give you a few seconds to do it, but just make sure that you do it in time, or you're probably going to have to rebuild the simulator from scratch again. I can see it's giving me the prompt there that the boot menu will be available. So just wait a little bit longer and we will see the boot menu showing up here. Okay, so that is all good. What I need to do here is basically factory reset. So I'm going to choose option number 4, which is clean configuration and initialize all disks. So I enter 4 and hit enter. Then in a second or two, it should ask me to confirm that I want to do this. So we'll give it a few seconds to think about it. It shouldn't normally take all that long to do this. So there we go. Here it comes. And it asks, do I want to zero the disks, reset the config, and install a new file system? I'll say Y for yes. This will erase all data on the disk. Am I sure? Yes, I am. And then it's going to reboot to finish this part of the installation. So I need to give it a few more seconds again to boot up here. Again, make sure I'm clicked in the window and I'll hit enter to boot immediately there. And then it's going to go through this part of the install process where it's going to be doing the factory reset. So what I'll do is I'll pause the video here and I'll come back when this part is finished. Okay, that is the first part of the install done. And it's now running the cluster setup wizard, as you can see from the welcome message up here. So it also asks me, do I want to enable auto support? So I will type yes to confirm and hit enter. Next, it asks me which is the node management interface port. And if you remember, we were using the third network adapter, which is E0C, to connect to VMnet1, which is our management network. So yes, E0C is correct. I could also have just hit enter there to accept the default. And then what is the node management IP address? That's going to be 172.23.1.12. So this is not the cluster management address. This is the node management address for the first node in the cluster. The subnet mask is 255.255.255.0, and the default gateway on the BIOS router is 172.23.1.254. It's then going to ask if I want to use the web browser to complete the configuration. That is not supported on the simulator. We need to carry on with the command line interface. So I will hit enter to carry on with the CLI. It now asks, do I want to create a new cluster or join an existing one? Well, this is our first node, so I'm going to create. Do I intend for this node to be used as a single node cluster? No, I do not. And then it asks me, do I want to use the default MTU etc. values? Yes, I do. So I will say yes there. And then for the cluster admin password, I will use a password of FLACKBOX'S with a capital F. And then I will type that in again to confirm. The simulator is now going to create the cluster interfaces. This can take a minute or so, so I'll wait for this to complete and then I'll come back. Okay, interfaces are done. The next thing it's asking me is for the cluster name. This is our first cluster, so I will call it cluster 1. It's now going to create the cluster for me, start the replication service. This can take a few seconds again as well. Should not take too long, but might take a little while. So again, I'll pause the video and I'll come back when it's created the cluster. Okay, the cluster is created. The next thing I'm asked is if I want to add any license keys. Now, you can type the license keys in here, but in the VMware player window at the console here, you cannot copy and paste. So it'd be really tedious to add the licenses here. What we'll do is we will complete the setup of the cluster and we'll enable PuTTY to be able to connect to it. And then we can use copy and paste in PuTTY later to copy and paste the licenses. It's a lot more convenient than typing them in. So I'm not going to add any additional licenses here. I'm just going to hit enter. It now asks me for the cluster management interface port, and the default here is E0D, which is wrong. That's not connected to the management network. Our interface connected to the management network is E0C, so I need to enter E0C here, and it is case sensitive. You need to enter it in lowercase. Okay, now my cluster management interface IP address. So 172.23.1.12 was the node management address. For my cluster management address, I'm going to use 172.23.1.11. The subnet mask is the same again, 255.255.255.0, and the default gateway, 172.23.1.254. That's the default, so I can just hit enter there. It's now going to ask me for the DNS domain name. In our lab, we are using FLACKBOX'S.lab as the domain name, and the DNS server is our Windows A client, which is going to have the IP address after we configure it of 172.23.4.1. Next, it asks where's the controller located. Really, this is just informational, so we can put anything in here. I will add FLACKBOX-lab, and that is the cluster setup wizard now configured. And you could actually use the node at this point, but we want to do some additional tweaks to get some better use out of the simulator. So let's go ahead and do that now. So I will log in as admin, and my password was FLACKBOX1 with a capital F. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do is add some additional disks to the simulator. That's going to give us some additional space and disk types to work with and make our lab a bit more flexible. To be able to do that, you need to go into the system shell to do it. And to get into the system shell, you need to unlock the special diag user. So let's do that first. So I've got the PDF open to the side of me here to remind me of the commands to enter. So first thing we're going to do is to unlock that diag user. So the command is security login unlock and then dash username, and the username is diag. That unlocks a user. We also need to set a password for the user account as well. So I'll say security login password dash username diag and hit enter, and it will prompt me to enter a password. I'll use the same password again of FLACKBOX1 with a capital F. Okay, so that is my diag user ready to go now. I now need to set the privilege level to diag. So I say set dash privilege, and I'll hit tab for tab completion here, and then diag, and it's going to warn me that I should only do this under direction from NetApp. It's okay, we know what we're doing here. So I'm going to say yes, I do want to continue. And I'm now at the diag mode there. Next, I need to go down to the system shell. So I will say system shell local. And at this point, you need to have the diag password to get in there. So the password that I set was FLACKBOX1. And there you can see that the prompt has now changed. Before it was cluster1 : a greater than symbol. Now it's cluster1-01 percentage to show me that I'm at the system shell for cluster1 node 1. Okay, next thing that I need to do is set my path. So I say set env and then path, and the path is open quotes, and then a dollar symbol, and then squiggly brackets, and path, and then, and I'll try to do that without a typo, so I'll get it right this time, and then close the squiggly brackets, and then :/usr/sbin, and then close the quotes. Okay, so that is my path done. And then I need to cd to change directory to /sim/dev. Okay, so this is going to then enable me to add the disks. I'll go to the next page on my PDF here, and the command to add the disks is sudo vsim underscore make disks -n for the number is going to be 14, -t for the type is going to be 23, and then -a for the adapter is going to be 2, and hit enter, and I can see that it's created those disks for me. I also want to add some SSD drives as well. So the command for that, I'll hit the up arrow to get that previous command back again, and it's sudo vsim make disks, and then this time I'm going to add 14 again, so -n and 14 for the number, and then this is going to be type 35, so -t35, and then -a, the adapter I'm going to put it on is adapter 3. So that's my SSDs added as well now, and I can now get out of this prompt. So I say exit to do that, and I'm back in my normal prompt again, but at the privileged level. Okay, next thing that I need to do is to reboot to complete the adding of these disks. So to do that, the command is system node reboot, and then the node name. So I'll just start typing it and hit tab for the tab completion there. And then I need to ignore codon warnings as well. Hit enter, and then yes to do the reboot. The system will now reboot. Still got a bit more work to do, so I'll see you again when the system is completed rebooting. Okay, that's the system back up again. So the next thing that I need to do is make sure that those disks are assigned to this node 1. So I'll log in first, username admin, password of FLACKBOX'S1, and then the command to use is storage disk assign -all true, and then the node is cluster 101. I can hit tab to auto complete that. Okay, so that is the disks assigned. The next thing that I'm going to do is to make sure that volume 0 doesn't run out of space. That's quite a common problem with the simulator. And if vol 0, the system node root volume, does run out of space, it will crash the simulator. So first off, I will make sure that there's no snapshots on vol 0. Then I'll expand aggregate 0, and then that will allow me to expand vol 0 as well. So first thing to do was to make sure there's no snapshots on vol 0. So to do that, I need to say run local first to get to the correct command level, and then the command is snap delete, and then -a for all, and then -f for force, and that's on vol 0. So that's to delete any existing snapshots that were already on there while we were building the lab. And then to disable any new snapshots from being created on there, the command is snap sched for vol 0, and I say 0, 0, 0. Okay, so that's got rid of any existing snapshots. Make sure that we're not going to have any new ones, and I can exit to get back to the normal command line again. Okay, next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add some disk space to aggregate 0, so then I'll be able to extend the size of vol 0 as well, just to make sure that it doesn't fill up. So the command I'm going to use is aggregate add, and that's going to be on aggregate 0. I'll hit tab to auto complete that. So that's aggregate 0 for my cluster 1 node 1, and then 1 to add an additional disk there. It is going to ask if I want to continue, and I'll say yes to that. And then it's going to ask me if I want to continue again, and I will say yes again. Okay, so that is the disks added. Now I need to extend the size of vol 0 as well. So to do that, I will say modify dash v server, and then this is on cluster 1-01. So this is just for our node volume that we're doing this for. And then the volume is vol0. And I want to make it as big as I possibly can. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say dash size and then plus 1 gigabyte. And I know that this is actually too big, but it's just a way that I can find out what the maximum size actually is. And I must have made a typo there. So let's try that again. What did I actually put in? Oh, I just put in modify. That needs to be vol modify to modify the volume. So I'll edit that and hit enter. And now I get an error message telling me that, hey, that's not going to work because you're trying to add too much space. There's not that much room available in the aggregate. But what it does do is down here, it tells me what the maximum size actually is. It's something weird with the simulator, but this is not always the same. So that's why I did it that way, to find out what the maximum size is in this instance. So now I can hit my up arrow again to get that command back, and I'm going to make it plus 892 megabytes is my maximum here. So whatever you get when you're doing it, just make it the maximum size that is allowed. Okay, and that is my volume now growing. So less likely that I'm going to run out of space on vol0 and crash my simulator now. Okay, next thing that I am going to do is, well, actually nothing. That is cluster 1, node 1 now completely built. The next thing to do is to build cluster 1 node 2 and join it to the cluster. To be able to do that, I need to have node 1 still running. So I'm going to keep node 1 running here, and next I'm going to build node 2. We'll run through doing that in the next video. Thanks for watching. If you want to get hands-on practice with NetApp storage, you can download my free How to Build a NetApp Lab for Free ebook. It's got full step-by-step instructions on how to build a complete NetApp lab, and best of all, you can run it all for free on your laptop. And if you want to get my complete NetApp course, which covers everything you need to know about NetApp storage, you can check out the other video that you can see here too. Thanks.